The Call by Christian Castillo, Eduardo Saldana, and Jacob Escobar. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, everything seemed normal for Jean Paul, with the sun rising over the city like a golden promise, casting its warmth on the bustling streets below. The sun was smiling at him. He gave his wife a kiss, messed up his son's hair, and left the house with a grin on his face, his heart a drum beating with anticipation, embracing the challenges of the day like a steady flame, lighting his path through uncertainties and unfolding like a tapestry woven with moments of bravery and sacrifice. He had no clue that the day would push him to be super brave and strong in ways he never thought possible. His goal in mind was to make his family proud, their love a fortress, giving him strength and courage as he faced the trials of the day. The city itself seemed to hold its breath, a silent witness to the unfolding events that would forever change the course of history. When Jean Paul got to the fire station, the usual friendly banter and teamwork vibes filled the place. "Morning, Jean," called out his colleague Dave. "Ready for another day of saving lives? With these happy clouds, I'm sure we'll have a good day," Dave inquired. "You bet, Dave. Let's make it count. With the sun smiling down on us, we'll be just fine," Jean proclaimed. As they got ready for work, the fire station buzzed with excitement, and everyone was full of energy and anticipation. "Any prediction for today's calls?" asked Mike, a fellow firefighter, adjusting his helmet. Jean Paul chuckled, checking his equipment. "I'm hoping for a quiet day, but you never know in this line of work," Jean bantered. Sean, however, was not in a good mood. "I feel like a zombie today. I did not get any sleep last night," Sean recalled. Just then, the alarm sounded, cutting through the conversation like a sharp knife. The team quickly jumped into action, relying on their training as they hurried to the fire trucks. "We need your team here at the World Trade Center immediately. Your goal is to get to the buildings and save as many people as you can," announced the dispatcher over the intercom, the gravity of the situation hanging heavy in the air. Jean Paul's face became serious as he looked at his teammates. "Buckle up, everyone. We've got a job to do." Dave was unsurprisingly upset, since his only motivation to be a firefighter was for the money. "Well, isn't this just a lovely day for a stroll through hell?" Dave groaned.
John Paul's heart pounded with excitement as he and his team hurried to the scene. As they got closer to the tall buildings, a thick cloud of dust and debris surrounded them, making it hard to see. The buildings looked like a dragon that breathed fire all over them, Sean noticed. The dust kept jumping at them like it was doing gymnastics. John got a taste of the smoke, which tasted like black tar and coal. John Paul narrowed his eyes and peered through the fire truck's windshield, finding it difficult to see the road ahead clearly. "This dust is too much," he muttered, pulling over to the side of the road. "Don't get any in your mouth. It tastes like my garbage can," David added. "It smells horrible, too, like charcoal mixed with sewage," Dave exclaimed. "We'll have to continue on foot," John stated. "I can hear people screaming. It sounds like dying birds," noted Sean. "Now is not the time to worry about that. We became firefighters to help people, not to complain," John reassured. The team quickly put on their gear and dashed towards the chaos that was unfolding at the Trade Center. Their progress hit a snag when they encountered a wall of flames that blocked their path. "We need to find another way," John Paul shouted over the roar of the fire. "We'll have to circle. Find a clear path," suggested Mike, another firefighter. They regrouped, their hearts pounding with urgency, and scoured the area for an alternative path, their determination fueling their efforts to reach those who needed help. "This is so fun," David smirked. That's when John Paul noticed someone in the distance, sprinting toward them, but appearing oblivious to the looming danger. "Hey, stop!" John Paul yelled, waving his arms frantically. You're heading straight into the fire. Solomon Vu, the person in question, appeared disoriented and oblivious to John Paul's frantic warnings. With unwavering determination in his eyes, John Paul rushed toward Solomon, pulling him away from the inferno just in time. John felt Solomon, who felt pale and cold, almost like a dead person.
They were now both trapped in a circle of dancing flames. "Well, this is just a delightful picnic spot," Jean-Paul quipped, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. Intending to save this man in mind, they reached safety, panting but unharmed. They dashed back to the fire truck, their adrenaline still racing as they hurried back to the station.
As they sat there catching their breath, Solomon turned to Jean-Paul with gratitude shining in his eyes. "Thank you," he wheezed, his voice trembling. "I don't know what I would have done without you." Jean-Paul smiled, a mixture of relief and pride washing over him. "We're all in this together," he proclaimed. "I'm just doing my job." After a quick drive, they were back at the fire station. The two washed up and said their goodbyes as they stood there. Solomon turned to Jean-Paul. "It's been a day," remarked Jean-Paul, his voice carrying a sense of exhaustion tinged with satisfaction. Solomon nodded, a solemn expression crossing his face. "I'll never forget what you did for me," he professed, sincerity evident in his tone. Jean-Paul patted him on the shoulder. "You take care now, Solomon. We're survivors, you and I. This day was so fun, I might never forget you," Jean mentioned sarcastically. With a final nod, they parted ways, each carrying with them the memory of the harrowing day, a day that tested their courage and resilience, but also forged a bond that would last a lifetime. About the story. While Jean-Paul is a fictional character, the challenges he and his team faced during the events described in the story resonate deeply with the real struggles experienced by firefighters on September 11, 2001. The sudden transition from a seemingly normal day to a crisis situation, the rush to the World Trade Center amid hazardous conditions of dust, debris, and toxic smoke, the need for quick thinking and adaptability in navigating obstacles, and above all, the courage and selflessness displayed in rescuing lives amidst chaos. All these elements mirror the harrowing reality faced by firefighters who work tirelessly, often risking their own lives to save others and respond to one of the most devastating events in modern history. While Jean-Paul may be a fictional character, his story serves as a poignant reminder of the heroism and resilience demonstrated by firefighters in the face of unimaginable challenges during 9/11.